Hello everyone, welcome to day 8 of February Lead Code Challenge, and today's question is peeping iterator. The question is not a regular question that we usually do, it's a design question. As it tells us to design some functionality. Let's go through the question together. You're given an iterator class which has two methods in it, next and has next. You need to design a peeping iterator that supports an additional method named as peep operation. Let's understand the functionality of peeking iterator with an example. In this case, the list is specified to us as 1, 2, 3. Call next on this list, you get 1, the first element of the list. And when you call peek, it points to the second element, that is 2. The next 2 element, it returns 2. And calling next on that element still returns 2, because in the previous operation you just peeked on it, you didn't actually retrieve that element. As the third step, when you call next the final time, it returns 3 since it's the last element left, and calling has next after that should return false to us. So we understood the functionality, what is asked in this question, and let's look at the functions that we need to write. They have also given a link to us that points to the Java doc of iterator class. So let's iterator interface. So let's look at that as well. So iterator interface has two primary methods, has next and next returns the next element in the iteration, and has next returns if the iteration has more elements in it. Pretty simple, straightforward way of using these two methods. And let's get started with the algorithm that I have created for this. So what all capabilities does the Java iterator give us? It gives us two capabilities, has next operation, and which tells whether there are more elements in the list or not, and next actually returns the next element if there are more elements present in your data structure. So what the question wants us to build? The question wants us to build a new iterator that has three functionalities, has next, peek, and next. What we'll be using to write these methods, we will use the Java iterator, which already supports two of these functionalities. Let's take a similar example that was specified in the question. We have a list which has 1, 2, 3, and what we will have in the peek iterator class are two private objects. One is the iterator that will be a Java iterator, and other would be the next element, next integer or next element that will help us write the peek logic for the peek logic. Both of them will be initialized to null, and in the initialization part, we will assign it to the variable that is passed as a parameter in the constructor, and null will point to the first element of it. So it's first element is 1, so this becomes 1. Now we have to write three logics: peek, next, and has next. So let's iterate through the list and understand how are we going to write this. So if peek is called, we will immediately return a next element. So this points to next EL. Please note that we have not actually moved to the next element. We have just peeked the next element, and in this case it is 1, and we returned 1 from it. So let's try and write the logic for the next element. What we will do, we actually if we want to operate the next element on this list, we have to return 1 from it, because actually this time is when we are actually visiting that element. So what we will do, we will cache we will store the next element from the current next element. So what we will do, we want to return 1 from by the next element, and we will move to the next element and store that variable in the next element variable. So this becomes 2. I think it's becoming a little confusing because the variable names are very overlapping. What have I done in this case? I have actually moved to the next element, iterated to the next element, and I have returned the value that was previously cached as next element. So 1 was previously cached, I returned 1 from it, and in reality I moved to the next element and stored that value in the peak variable. So peak becomes 2. Now if somebody calls peak, where it will point to 2. And if somebody calls next method from this point, what we need to return, we need to return the previously peaked element that was stored in the next element variable or the peak element. So we need to return 2, and actually we will move to the next iteration. So we will move to this, and the peak element becomes 3, and next returns 2. Now for the case where the list is exhausting, we will check whether IT has next element or not. Since it doesn't have the next element, so we will initialize this to null, and in that case next element would return the previously cached value, which was 3. So this returns 3 instead of 2. If there's some confusion with respect to how am I doing this, it will be cleared in the coding part. So let's quickly code this up. Defining the variable next element, that is initialized to null here, and Java iterator of generic type integer is also defined as null. This dot it equals to iterator, and it dot next points to the next element. So next element becomes it dot next. Pretty simple. We stored the next element, whatever it will be. So in our peak element variable. So this is peak element, used for peak element, and whenever we need to return the peak element, we'll simply return the next TL. In the next integer method that we need to write, what we need to return, we need to return the whatever value was previously peaked. So let's store it in a variable integer next value to return, it is next TL, and here we need to actually move to the next iteration. If it dot has next, if it has more variables, then this dot next el becomes it dot next. Otherwise this dot next TL becomes null, since the list has exhausted, the iterator has exhausted, and we simply return whatever the previously uh, peaked element was value to return, which was the next TL. So you're storing the value to return in your next TL element, and you at the same time you are doing the work for the future. So this is the work for the future. And in the third part, where you need to check whether the iterator has next elements or not, you need to simply compare the next TL with null. If next TL is not equal to null, that means it has more elements. If it is equal to null, it has no elements. So let's try and submit this code. Accepted. What is the time complexity of this approach? The time complexity is the same as the number of elements in the iterator part. So order of n is the TC, and